Hello, it's week 8 of season 7 of the Andy Griffith Show. This week's episode title is Politics Begin at Home. Andy is sitting in front of the daughter shop with Gooder and Floyd talking about their recently vacated spot on the city council. And Gooder asks Floyd why he don't run to fill it. And Floyd says, "No, I already served 4 years once. You all are too young to remember. Those were very stormy times in Nadary politics." And Andy says, Howard Strag would be good to fill that seat. He's got the county clerk experience, he's intelligent, he's outstanding, he's always talking about improvements he'd like to see around here. So they get up to go ask him. Meanwhile, we see Aunt Bee at her garden club meeting saying she'd like to see something done about beautifying Elm Street. Yeah, they all agree it's not right to have a blighted area like that in a city like Nadary. And somebody says, let's form a committee and take our ideas to the person who gets elected to the city council. But then Clara says, how about just one of us run for the seat? And they all say, Aunt Bee should run. And she accepts. And then we switch to Howard's office, where Andy and Floyd and Gooder are convincing Howard to run, and he accepts. Of course, the guys don't know yet about Aunt Bee's plans to run, and Andy even says Aunt Bee will probably talk up Howard's candidacy at her women's clubs. So Andy comes home and finds out that Aunt Bee's going to run, and he asks her whether maybe other people might be better experienced and better qualified. And she gets mad. She thinks he's implying that only men can do these jobs, and then a woman's place is in the home. And then Howard comes over, and he congratulates Aunt Bee on her candidacy. But then Aunt Bee finds out that Howard's running too, and that Andy's the one who recommended him, and that Andy's still gonna support Howard, since Andy thinks he's more qualified. And Aunt Bee don't like that. But she still makes Clara her campaign manager, and she's going to go on with it. The next morning in the kitchen, Aunt Bee is still visibly upset with Andy. She fixes Opie a huge breakfast, but Andy a real small one. And then Andy goes and tells Howard and Floyd and Gooder in the daughter shop that he thinks Howard should still run, because he's still the best person for the job, even though it's an awkward situation with Aunt Bee. And Howard says okay, he will. And meanwhile, Aunt Bee is decorating the front porch of the house with a D for City Council banner, and Clara is setting up all these campaign speaking engagements for her, and the guys are making the daughter shop the campaign headquarters for Howard. And Andy gets the cold shoulder from the garden club ladies on the street. And Andy comes in the barbershop and says, this is just turning into an emotional man versus woman thing. And he suggests an open debate between Howard and Aunt Bee to get this contest back to the issues. And Howard says, good idea. And Andy goes home to ask Aunt Bee and her campaign team whether they'd like to do that. And they say yes, the sooner the better. And at the debate, Howard is much better prepared with answers, though. He's got facts and figures that highlight the pros and cons of all the civic improvements that get brought up. And all Aunt Bee ever says is, if it's the will of the people, it shall be done. And after a while, Aunt Bee says that he is better qualified. She stands up and admits that, and she says she now supports Howard, and she encourages everyone else to do the same. So everyone respects that and claps and smiles, and Andy comes up and says he don't know what to say. And Aunt Bee tells him she'll fix him a big and good breakfast in the morning. And later, Howard asked Aunt Bee to head a committee for the beautification of Elm Street. And she starts telling Andy and Opie about a lot of big plans she has. We'll see you next week for episode 9.